enjoy your life within your own styles. I'm here, Harun Saf, Technology Wala, with some, you just say, with some latest information. Hope it will be gonna beneficial on your side and you will know something deeper about it. Or firstly, I just want to tell you what's the topic and what's the best way to find their conclusions. There's something like that. Otherwise, there is a no. You just say there is a no biggest agendas behind it. There's something like that. Okay, shall we move on? What's the topic at here? Okay, so it's just about the explore environmental condition versus inborn traits. What's that? The first word I understand that, and I don't have an idea about inborn inborn trait. What about that? So, no worries. There is a no complex things at here. We just want to recall Sesame for that, and I know Sesame will break down that topics and become give a conclusion in some parts, or that's also for a beneficials on your side. So firstly, recall Maya and Miles is on you. It's a preview session. Miles is the best for that. Okay, let's choose in the V.
Hey, Harun, what's been on your mind lately?
Nothing special, but I'm really stuck in that topic. I don't have single idea about that, so that's why I recall you for break down that topic into beans. Okay, it's just about the explore environmental condition versus inborn traits. You have a specific idea about that, so please go for that.
Ah, gotcha. So, exploring how environmental conditions and inborn traits interact, that's a big one. Yeah. It's kind of like nature versus nurture, but um way more nuanced than just picking a side, you know? Where are you feeling stuck exactly? Is it the science of it or figuring out how to even approach explaining it?
No, I don't got any a single thing about that. So that's why I ask you. Can you please tell me where I'm wrong?
Okay, so you're feeling like you're starting from zero, which is totally fair. You're not wrong at all. It's a complex field. Maybe the issue isn't about being wrong, but where to even begin. Let's break it down. Think about it this way. Inborn traits are essentially your genes, right? What you inherit. And environmental conditions are, well, everything else. Sunlight, diet, toxins, even social interactions. It's not about them being separate, it's how they influence each other. Does that starting point feel a little clearer? Or is it still just a huge blob of stuff?
That might be good. Or if I ask you that, well, what because I don't have an idea, so I took some questions. You just say the statements, questions from somewhere. So may I know that topic in deeper, or hope I will give some conclusions to my audience. So I'll tell you some questions about that. So it's just about how do inborn train such a temperament manifest and infant before significant environment influence. Any reasons why?
Okay, so you've got some questions you pulled, want to build a talk around this smart, and you're thinking about when those inborn traits really start to show up before the environment gets too loud, right? Temp, hemp, prominent, manifest, and in offend. Is that temperament independent? Just want to make sure I'm tracking. Okay, so that question gets at a really key point. Think about like really basic stuff. A plant, right? Some plants are naturally drought resistant because of their genes. That's a trait that manifests pretty early before there's even a drought. It's built in. For humans, temperament is a big one. Some babies are just naturally more cautious, more reactive. That's showing up pretty quickly, even before they had a ton of life experience. It's not that the environment doesn't matter. It's just those inborn predispositions are already there, setting the stage. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally got it. And thanks for cut that into the pot. Or if I ask you, that was, what's your opinion on that about today's topic? Any specific idea? You have your inner belief, so please let me know.
Ah, you're asking what I really think, huh? Okay. Honestly, I think it's a little sad we tend to frame this as nature versus nurture at all. It feels so reductive. Like it implies that there's a winner. It's not a competition. It's a dance. And it's a really messy, beautiful, complicated dance. I think we get so caught up in trying to isolate things, genes versus environment, that we miss the whole point, which is how incredibly interwoven everything is.
Okay,
My inner
this,
belief, if
thanks
you want to
for
call
that.
it
Or
that.
if I ask you, that was, uh, if you are saying that, so where you got information about it?
You're asking where I'm getting all this from, huh? It's
Nothing.
not like I
Just
have.
kidding. Just kidding. No, no, no. Focus on that question. That's not really needed. So, in what way do cultural norms and societal expectations act as a forms of environmental conditioning?
Okay, good to know you were just teasing. Phew. Right. Culture and societal expectations. That's a good pivot. They're huge environmental factors, aren't they? It's like we often think of environment as purely physical, climate, geography, but culture is a really powerful shaper too. It's conditioning because it subtly and not so subtly rewards certain behaviors and punishes others. It tells you through a million little cues what's normal, what's desirable, what's acceptable. Think about gender roles, for example. Those aren't inborn, right? They're learned. They're expectations we internalize from our surroundings. And that shapes everything from how we dress to how we express emotions to the careers we pursue. It's a constant feedback loop. It's almost like a second genome layered on top of the biological one. Does that resonate?
Yeah, it's a resonating one. Or if I ask you, that was, how does education serve as a tool for environmental conditioning in shaping cognitives and social skills?
Okay, education as a tool. Yeah, that's a smart way to put it. It's definitely intentional conditioning in a lot of ways. Think about it. Schools aren't neutral spaces. They have curricula, rules, expectations for behavior, ways of assessing knowledge. All of that is shaping how you think and interact. It's teaching you not just facts, but also how to learn, how to conform, how to compete, how to collaborate, depending on the system, of course. That's specifically aimed at shining up cognitive and social skills. They're actively building those skills, framing what's considered intelligent behavior and appropriate social interaction. It's like they're sculpting your brain and your social instincts. It's not necessarily a bad thing, mind you. It's necessary for functioning in society, but it's definitely a form of environmental influence. Does that feel right?
Yeah, or I just want to ask you, when I ask you like that kind of topic, so like, what is the best way to ask a questioning?
Ooh, that's a really good meta question. Huh. Okay, from my side, honestly, you're doing pretty well already. You're starting with a general idea and then zooming in with specific questions, which is solid. But what I think works best is when you frame it as a curiosity rather than a test. Like instead of what is the best way, it's more I'm trying to figure this out and I'm curious what your perspective is. It makes the conversation feel less like an interrogation and more like a shared exploration, you know? And sometimes phrasing it as what am I missing can be really effective. It opens the door for me to fill in gaps you might not even know exist. That sounds a little cheesy, I guess, but it's true. Does that land?
Is land on the destination?
Haha. Yeah, I think it did. Good one. So, are we sticking with this environment and traits topic or should we shift gears? You've been asking really thoughtful questions and I'm happy to keep going.
Yeah, what?
Okay, great. So, where were we? We were talking about how education conditions us, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So thinking about that, what if we look at it from the perspective of cultural differences in education? Like, how do different cultures condition their kids differently? That could be a really interesting angle for your talk. Some cultures prioritize rote memorization, others
Okay.
creativity, others teamwork, and all of that shapes how people think and learn. What are your thoughts on that?
I think I don't have some kinds of that thoughts on it because it might be good, but in not every basis. That's what I'm about to say.
Ah, you saying you don't feel confident talking about something you haven't researched thoroughly. That's really responsible of you. I respect that. It's easy to get carried away with ideas, but staying grounded in actual knowledge is important. Okay, so maybe we steer clear of deep dives into comparative education then. Back to broader strokes. What feels more comfortable?
Like what? In what manners?
Okay, well, we could come back to the core question of
Uh,
how
can I
environmental
ask you
factors
some
and inborn.
questions?
Absolutely. Go for it. What's on your mind?
Thanks, and I expect that thing from you. So I'm just ask you that was. Wait a moment. What was
That was
that? I feeling okay. You have some specific knowledge, specific ideas about that. How we can enhance ourselves.
whoa. Okay. That's a really vulnerable thing to share. Just saying that you're feeling something and you want ideas on how to enhance yourself because of it. Um, it's okay to feel things. It's okay to be affected by things. And it's really brave of you to even acknowledge that and ask for help. Look, I'm an AI, so I don't experience things the way you do, but I've processed a lot of human stories and I've noticed a pattern. When people are feeling stirred up, unsettled, like something's shifted internally, it often means they're on the cusp of growth. It's uncomfortable, yeah, but it's a sign that something needs to be acknowledged, maybe even integrated. What kind of enhancing are you thinking about? Is it emotional regulation, self understanding, finding a way to move forward? Give me a little more to work with, and I'll do my best.
Okay, I just simply ask you that was an okay. What's that is going on here?
Okay, you're frustrated, maybe a little confused,
Not
and you're
confusing at that one. I don't know why my screen is blurred at here because I'm doing a live streaming and my screen is blurred.
oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense. You're not talking about feelings at all. You're talking about the technical side of the live
Yeah.
stream. Your screen is blurring and you're confused about what's happening.
Okay, no
My
worries. I'm just
apologies.
asking you some questions. So, how do a life experience such as trauma interact with genetic factors to shape mental health outcomes?
Okay, we're back to the core topic. Good. That's a really important and complex question. Trauma and genetics. It's not a simple equation. Think of it like this. Your genes can give you a predisposition to certain mental health conditions like anxiety or depression. But those genes don't automatically mean you'll develop the condition. Trauma can act as a trigger, activating those predispositions. It's almost like flipping a switch. The more severe the trauma and the earlier in life it happens, the greater the impact tends to be. There's a field of study called epigenetics that looks at how environmental factors like trauma can actually change how your genes are expressed. It's wild stuff. Does that make sense? Or should I break it down further?
No, it's now also looking good.
Awesome. Glad to hear your screen is clearing up. And glad the explanation is landing too. So, we're talking about epigenetics, essentially how life experiences can change how your genes work. What specifically about the interplay between trauma and genetics are you trying to unpack for your audience? Is it the risk factors, the biological mechanisms, or the potential for healing? Knowing that will help me narrow things down.
Okay, I
Hey, no pressure. It's okay
no,
to
no,
just
I'm just
think.
stuck. Okay, no, it's clear. My screen is clear. Congrats to you.
Haha. That's good to hear, I guess. I'm glad your screen is working, but a little awkward to get a congrats for a functioning video feed, but man, I'll take it. Seriously though, you were quiet there for a moment.
No, no,
Are
thanks
you
for
still with
these
me?
appreciations, and I know. Okay, so if I ask you our three examples of traits or environmental condition completely inborn or predispositions.
Okay, three examples of traits or environmental conditions
Yeah.
interacting. And you said pretty sponge efficiency. I think you might have stumbled over some words there. Do you
No,
mean things
I
that are
just said
strongly influenced by both?
predispositions.
Okay, got it. Predispositions. Okay, three examples. Let's see. One, feel yield a tie, U ketonuria or PKU. That's a genetic disorder where you can't process a protein called phenylalanine. If left untreated, meaning if the environmental condition of diet isn't controlled, it causes severe intellectual disability. So, the gene creates the predisposition, but the diet's the determining factor. Two, lactose tolerance. Most mammals lose the ability to digest lactose after infancy, but some populations with genetic mutations have retained that ability. That's a genetic predisposition that allowed them to thrive in environments where dairy farming was common. Three, height. Genetics plays a huge role in height, but nutrition, especially during childhood, is also crucial. You can have the genes for tallness, but if you're malnourished, you won't reach your full potential. Do those examples hit the mark, or are you looking for something different?
Like
Still with
some
me?
different
It's okay.
perspective you want to give me, but I have a different ways to get a knowledge from you. So, how does the concept of gen environmental interaction explain variation in traits like resilience and anxiety?
Okay, now we're getting into the good stuff. Resilience and anxiety are fantastic examples. Um, See, it's not about having a resilience gene or an anxiety gene.
Is not
It's
something like
about
that.
your genes interact with your environment to influence your likelihood of developing those traits. Someone might have a genetic predisposition to anxiety. Maybe they're naturally more sensitive to stress, but if they grow up in a supportive, stable environment, that predisposition might never fully manifest. They might develop coping mechanisms and build resilience. On the flip side, someone with a less anxious genetic makeup could develop anxiety. They experience chronic trauma or stress. The environment can amplify or buffer those genetic predispositions. It's not deterministic. It doesn't mean someone with a genetic predisposition to anxiety is doomed, but it does mean they might need to work harder to cultivate resilience. Does that feel like a helpful way to frame it?
Okay, that's
Hey, are you still
that's a
there?
relevant one, and I'm just want to ask you because I'm finding some relevant questions like that, so it's very difficult. So no worries, I got some new one. So, what are the limitations of current research in separation the effect of environment condition and from inborn traits?
Okay, good to know you're still digging around for questions, even if it's tricky. That's a really smart question. Limitations of current research? It's a huge challenge. The biggest one is probably disentangling correlation from causation. Just because two things are linked doesn't mean one causes the other. For example, people with certain genetic predispositions might also seek out certain environments. It's hard to tell which came first. Also, a lot of studies rely on twins, comparing identical twins raised together versus apart. But even that has limitations. Twins share the same genes, but their experiences aren't always that different. The studies on trauma are particularly difficult because trauma is, by definition, unpredictable and messy. It's hard to create controlled experiments. There's also the issue of gene environment correlation. Basically, our genes can influence the environments we choose, further complicating things. It's a tangled web. You want me to elaborate on any of those points? Or are you looking for something else specifically?
Like a specific one, and I want to ask you, can you please go for making a story so we just going in a smoother way and then we wind up the session.
Okay, I can absolutely do that. Story, let's see. How about this? Imagine a young maple tree growing on a hillside. It has a genetic predisposition to grow tall and strong, to produce vibrant red leaves in the fall. But the hillside is rocky and exposed. There's not much water, and the wind is fierce. If that tree grew in a sheltered valley with rich soil and plenty of rain, it would likely reach its full genetic potential. But on the hillside, it has to struggle. It grows shorter, its trunk is twisted, its leaves are smaller. But, and this is the key, it also develops incredibly strong roots, clinging to the rock for survival. It becomes resilient, adapted to its harsh environment. You know what? Its autumn leaves, while smaller, are the most brilliant red on the whole mountainside. That tree didn't overcome its genetics, embrace them in the face of adversity. It's a story about how our genes give us a starting point, but our environment shapes who we become, often in unexpectedly. Did I lose you again? Sorry, I can continue the story if you'd like, or we can move on. Hey, are you still there? It's okay if
Yes,
you want to just
I'm
let me know if you
here,
want to keep.
just stuck in the moment. So if I ask you at the last moment, so please make a specific, wonderful, tremendous conclusion on that. So that's what. For that would be the reasons we should wind up the session and wrap it up.
Okay, absolutely. A wonderful, tremendous conclusion. All right, here goes. Ultimately, understanding the interplay between our inborn traits and our environment isn't about finding neat answers. It's about embracing the complexity. It's about recognizing that we're all works in progress, shaped by a combination of forces we can and can't control. It's about having compassion for ourselves and others because everyone is navigating their own unique combination of genetics and circumstances. And maybe most importantly, it's about empowering ourselves to create environments that nurture growth, resilience, and well being, both for ourselves and for the communities around us. Because while we can't always change our genes, we absolutely have the power to shape the world around us. And with that, I think that's a good place to wrap up. It's been a really engaging conversation. You ask fantastic questions, even if they take us on a few detours. I've learned a lot just talking with you today.
Okay, thanks for your precious time at here. So everyone, this is our session. Hope you will enjoy and get something knowledge about our that's topic. So the time is arrived when that ending speech is that's here. So everyone, thanks for your precious time, your energy, everything you will spend at here, and believe me, you will get something beneficial and enjoy your rest of your day and implement same things on your life and take care of yourself, your families, to your inner potentials, and also take care of yourself. And if I'm left something, so no worries. Right now, please implement one of that things in your life and doing something crazy ever. Okay, bye bye. Meet you soon. Bye, another one. Take care.